Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're digging into some of the most fearsome figures in any ancient text, the giants. And as you're about to see, their origin story is way stranger and more complicated than you probably think.
Okay, let's just dive right in. The Bible is filled with these incredible stories about giant clans, beings so huge they struck terror into the hearts of entire armies. But you have to wonder, where did they come from? What's the real origin of these legendary beings?
So our story really starts on the ground with one of the most famous scouting missions in history. A group of Israelite spies were sent to check out the land of Canaan, and they came back terrified, not with stories of milk and honey, but with a report of pure dread. I mean, listen to that quote. It tells you everything you need to know about the psychological intact here. These weren't just big guys. This was a completely different scale of being. They felt like insects. That one line just perfectly captures the kind of terror these giants inspired.
So that's the big question, isn't it? Where in the world did beings that could make seasoned warriors feel like grasshoppers even come from? Well, to find that answer, we actually have to look outside the main story, to a much older, incredible backstory, one that didn't start on Earth at all.
A huge piece of this puzzle comes from a fascinating ancient text called the Book of Enoch. Now, it's not part of the standard biblical canon, but this book describes a crazy event that happened long before those spies ever set foot in Canaan. It basically gives us the missing origin story. And according to Enoch, it all started with this number, 200. That was the number of celestial beings who gathered on top of Mount Hermon. They made a pact, a forbidden oath, that was going to change the course of human history forever. These 200 beings were known as the Watchers. Now, their original job was pretty simple, just observe humanity from a distance. But, led by a high-ranking angel named Samyaza, they decided to completely abandon their posts, come down to Earth, take human wives, and have children. And that was their first huge mistake.
But it didn't stop there. Oh no, the Watchers didn't just have kids, they also brought secrets with them. Forbidden knowledge from heaven that humanity was never, ever supposed to have, and it completely turned civilization upside down.
And the texts get super specific about what they taught. Samyaza, the ringleader, taught sorcery and enchantments. Another one, Azazel, taught humanity how to make weapons, swords, shields, and, get this, also introduced cosmetics. Kokabeel revealed the secrets of astrology, and Penemue taught the revolutionary art of writing with ink and paper. A total game changer.
Just picture the before and after here. Before the Watchers, you've got a pretty primitive human society. After they show up, bam! Suddenly there's advanced metalworking, sophisticated magic, and written history. It was a massive leap forward for humanity, but man, it came at a terrible, terrible price.
And that price, well, it brings us right back to our giants. The children born from the unions between the Watchers and human women were the very first generation of giants, known as the Nephilim. And they, in turn, became the ancestors of all those different giant clans we read about in the Bible.
And listen, we're not talking about a few tall guys here and there. No, these were entire tribes that completely dominated the land. You had the Anakim, yep, the same ones who terrified the spies. They were the Emim, a name that literally means terrors. How intimidating is that? You also had the Zamzamim, or Mutterers, and the super-powerful Rephaim, the clan of the famous giant king Og.
But it's not just about these clans. The stories also zoom in on specific, named individuals. And this is where the sheer scale of these beings becomes personal and, honestly, just mind-blowing. Okay, so take King Og of Bashan. He's described as the last of the Rephaim. The text doesn't tell us his exact height, but it gives us something even better. The size of his iron bed, 13.5 feet long. I mean, just try to imagine the creature that would need a bed that big.
And then, of course, there's the big one, the most famous giant of them all, Goliath of Gath, a Philistine champion who stood at a staggering 9 feet 9 inches tall, wearing armor that weighed 125 pounds. He wasn't really a man, he was a walking battle tank.
But maybe the most unsettling description of all belongs to an unnamed giant that David's man ran into. The text just calls him a man of great stature, but then it adds this one bizarre, eerie detail. He had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. It's like this physical mark of his strange, unnatural heritage.
So there you have it. From a celestial rebellion came forbidden knowledge and a whole lineage of giants that terrorized the ancient world.
It leaves us with a really fascinating question. How are we supposed to understand these stories today? Are they just pure mythology? Maybe distorted memories of real battles against taller tribes? Or could they be ancient warnings? Cautionary tales about ambition and the consequences of seeking power that you're just not meant to have? The texts, well, they don't give us the final answer. They leave the interpretation up to us.